So welcome to Tiny Bites. Today we're going to learn how to add the One You logo to a flyer. We're going to do our flyer for a pretend bake sale to benefit the animal rescue in two ways. The first way is with postermywall.com. We'll just choose a bake sale template and modify it how we want it. And then we'll do a simple flyer in a Google Doc. I'm assuming you have a working device with an internet connection. So let's go ahead and try the Poster My Wall style first. I'm going to go to postermywall.com. We're here in the templates area, so in the search bar, I'm going to type bake sale. Don't reinvent the wheel. They have a lot of nice looking templates. You can just scroll and pick one that appeals to you and make the small tweaks you need for your event and then get going. Don't think too hard on these disposable PR pieces because you can always make another one the next time. Now, for those of you who are more adventurous and you made one to practice with, or you have a real one for your church work that you just want to add a logo to, I invite you to follow along and pause the video whenever you need to and go ahead and get that logo on there. I've sent you some template cake. Well, for those who are more adventurous, I invite you to go ahead and try getting it onto your real church work poster that I invited you to make. And for the rest who just want to watch and then replay the video to follow along later step by step, I invite you to give it a whirl. But this one looks good to me. Let's go ahead and edit the template. You'll see it comes up a little bigger and you can click on the Customize Template button. I don't like the fudge sauce, so I'm going to click on it so it's activated and I'm hitting the delete button. All of these font styles and colors you can tweak as needed. You can also click on it and drag it up or down if you want better placement. So I'm just scooting everything up a little bit to make myself a little more space at the bottom. Now remember, when you click an image, you can have toggles in the center, on the sides, to keep the proportions right so I don't get weird proportions. I usually like to grab it from a diagonal. I'm grabbing the toggle, clicking and dragging it to shrink it just a little bit so it's still cute, but not taking up quite as much space. You'll see the center blue line to help you position it when it's in the center. Goes away when I'm not, comes back when I'm in the middle. So that's a helpful guide, but don't worry that it's showing up on your flyer. It's just while you're moving things around on your collage. This is the part that I want to edit. It's not actually Martha's Cakes. We're going to go ahead and put our church address, www.orlandouu.org. That looks okay to me. And down here, instead of having Martha's Cake Shop, we're going to put First Unitarian Church of Orlando. We'll go ahead and put the church address. Take me a second. All right, that's the street, and then we want the city and the state and our zip code. That way the people who see our poster know where to come. All right, so I'm going to click away and look at it, and I think, oh, it's a little too low, so I'll click it again to select it, and click and drag. You see the blue line to help me stay centered. Click and drag, bring it on up. But I actually don't want this one centered. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little space for our logo. I'm going to click and drag to highlight it all. And over here on the side, I choose the left to make it all line up on the left, right? You see how it changed? I'm going to click it again. I get my stretchy bar toggles. I'm going to click a side one this time and scoot it over some. See how I made this white space here for my logo to come in? That's where I want to put my logo. So I'm going to slide up here to the upper corner to photo, click on that. I'm going to click on the add from my photos. And I actually happen to have one in black already from a previous poster, but I want to upload a new one. I'm going to click on the plus, upload photos button. And then from my folder, I'm going to choose the blue and white logo. Once it's selected, I hit open. And I'm going to give it a minute so it gets into my photo library at Poster My Wall. And now it appears on top of everything, but it's a little too big. Remember how we shrunk the donuts and squished them around? We're going to do the same thing. Grab a diagonal so your proportions stay nice, because if you grab it from the middle, it's going to be like squishy rather than actually circular, right? So we want to go from the diagonal so it stays circle. And you might have to do it in several steps. Just grab and drag as many times as you need. We've shrunk it. Now I'm going to click on the center of it and still holding it so I can slide it down into this open space. And I'm trying to make it line up. I'm looking for that blue line. There it is, right across the 1901. So it's nicely placed. Now I can click off to the side so I can admire my flyer. I actually think it's a touch too big. I'm going to squinch it just a hair more. You can spend all the time you want on your flyer adjusting those kinds of things, but you get the general idea. Now we have our logo on our poster. If I wanted to change the size or colors of my font, I could click Bake Sale, and over here on the side I could decide to make it blue. I could click on, I don't know, maybe the 27th of October, and I have decided I want it bigger or smaller. You can slide your toggle big, you can slide your toggle small, you could actually type the number in here. I'm going to say 50. 50 looks good to me. So those small tweaks you can adjust like you want, but you get the general idea of how to add this logo to your flyer at postermywall.com. So let's take a look at doing it in a Google document instead. All right, so here I am in a Google Doc. I've gone ahead to save time and put some basic text. Annual fundraiser, 27 October, we're going to have it from 10 to 1. We're still benefiting the pet rescue, and here's our church address. The first thing I'm going to do is insert my picture for my cakes. We had sent one around for the example lesson. Here's how I do that. I come up here to insert. I slide down to image and I say that I want to upload one from my computer. This time I click on the bake sale picture. Click on open, and you see that it's really, really big, but no worries. Just like before, you can click on it and these toggle things will appear. I always like diagonal so my proportions stay nice. You may have to do it once or twice to kind of get it into the size range that you think it is going to be best. I kind of like this size. I'm going to leave it alone. While it's still activated, I'm going to come up here to the alignment and pick center. So it centers it on my page. So there we go, bake sale. And now I want to make these words bigger, not quite like normal document text. Up here, you could do it by choosing title, heading, etc. You could change your fonts. I like Arial, but there are many fonts that you could choose. You could play with those. But 11 point is probably too little for a flyer. That's more like a normal document. I think I'm going to make everything, you can click, certainly, and just choose, or you could type it, or you can use these toggles to make them go up and down. I'm just going to choose, I don't know, maybe an 18. That looks good, right? I'm going to click on these three dots so I can see more of my choices, and I'm going to choose center again, so everything is centered. Let's take a look at it, see how it looks. Here's some cake, we got the bake sale, annual fundraiser, we're going to benefit. It looks pretty good to me, but maybe we want the time and the date a little bit bigger than the address, because that's the big shout out. So this time I'm going to use the pluses to make them a little bigger until I feel like it's a sub headline instead of big chunky text. 25 looks about right. Now we're going to add the logo. I'm going to put my cursor here after orlando.org, and I'm just going to hit return a few times to give me some space. I'm going to come up here to insert. I'm going to go to image, and I'm going to say upload from the computer. This time I'm looking for the logo one, the blue and white logo. I'm going to click on it to select it, and I'm going to hit open. Whoa, it's really big. But again, don't worry. You can click on it to get those sizing toggles, and I'm going to shrink it down. It may take a few steps to get it down to a size that you want. And remember, this is only one way to do the job. And I'm going to drag him up now back onto my other page, now that it's not so huge. Maybe put a little space there. Oops, too much space. And I'm going to play with this for a minute with my sizes. I think my bake sale has to shrink just a little bit so that everything can fit nicely. All right, there we go. now let's zoom out over here. This is at 100%. I'm going to try to zoom out to 50 and see if we can see the whole flyer. There we go, almost the whole flyer. So we're looking at it, and that looks pretty good. Remember, when you're making these throwaway posters, you don't have to be a professional designer. So long as you get your main message across so that your guests can come to your church event, it is fine. There is a reason why when we drive down the street, you see things like hair, tan, nails. Now, when you go to the beauty parlor, up close, it might say something more detailed like Kathy's Fabulous Hair Salon, but the big sign on top that you see from the street says hair. You know exactly what's going to happen if you go there. You're going to do stuff to your hair. So that's what you're shooting for in your flyer. Clear information is better than getting too tangled up with fancy fonts or colors. You want your guests to understand what's happening, and here it's clear. We're having a fundraiser bake sale to benefit the pet rescue. It's happening on the 27th of October from 10 to 1, and you can come have all the fun at First Unitarian Church of Orlando. So thank you for watching Tiny Bites. I invite you to go ahead and try making your flyers in both ways and putting your logo on it. See you next time.